What if I told you that the very pill you or someone you love takes every single day might be quietly stealing away your most precious possession, your mind? Not in decades, not in years, but slowly, silently, and in ways you might not even notice until it's too late. This isn't fear for the sake of fear. This is a truth buried in studies and whispered by concerned doctors. A truth that has been left in the shadows while millions of elderly men and women swallow this pill thinking it's helping them, when in fact for 80% of users it has been linked to dementia. Yes, 80%. Imagine sitting at your kitchen table, a warm cup of tea in your hands, thinking about your children, your grandchildren, and suddenly realizing that one day you might not even remember their names. Not because of age, not because of fate, but because of a choice you never knew was dangerous. That's the danger we're talking about today. And before this video ends, you will know what this pill is, why it's so harmful, and what you can do right now to protect your memory and your life. Please, don't look away. This could be the most important information you hear this year. Number 1. Why this matters to every senior. You've worked hard your whole life. You've built memories, raised families, kept traditions alive, and carried wisdom that no book can teach. And now, in these years where you should be enjoying the fruits of that labor, traveling, laughing with friends, baking your favorite recipes, telling stories to wide-eyed grandchildren, your mind is supposed to be your greatest treasure. But what if I told you there's a silent thief that can take it all away? Not in a dramatic overnight way, but slowly, with subtle slips. You misplace your keys more often. You forget the name of a neighbor you've known for years. You walk into the kitchen and can't remember why. At first you laugh it off, oh, I'm just getting older. But then it gets worse. You forget birthdays, conversations, even familiar faces. And the most heartbreaking part, this isn't always just aging. Sometimes it's the side effect of a pill you've been told is safe. For many seniors, this pill is as common as the salt on their dining table. The medical system may not have warned you. No one explained the risk clearly. And so millions continue to take it daily, unknowingly walking down a road toward memory loss. That's why this conversation matters, because if we don't talk about it now, it may be too late for some. Number 2. The stories they don't want you to hear. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 72-year-old grandmother from Ohio. She was the heart of her family. Every Sunday, she hosted big family dinners filled with laughter, stories, and the smell of her famous roast chicken. About 5 years ago, she started taking this common pill for what her doctor described as a minor health issue. At first, she didn't think much of it. But within a year, her family noticed she was repeating herself more often. She'd tell the same story twice in the same conversation, forgetting she'd already said it. Then she began losing track of days, missing appointments she had written down just hours before. Her children thought it was just age catching up, but when she was finally tested, the diagnosis came: early-stage dementia. Her doctor, almost reluctantly, admitted that the pill she had been taking was known to increase the risk of memory loss, especially in older patients. Margaret was devastated. "Why didn't anyone warn me?" she asked, tears in her eyes. And she's not alone. Stories like hers are happening all over the country, quietly, without headlines, without warnings on TV. Seniors like you deserve to know this before it happens. You deserve the choice that Margaret never had. Number 3. How this pill works against you. The most dangerous thing about this pill isn't just what it does, it's how it does it. Many seniors take it believing it's helping with blood pressure, sleep, allergies, or bladder control. Problem is, this pill doesn't just work on the problem it's prescribed for. It also interferes with chemicals in the brain that are essential for memory, focus, and clear thinking. These chemicals, called neurotransmitters, are like messengers in your brain. They carry thoughts, memories, and instructions from one part of your mind to another. But this pill, especially with long-term use, disrupts those messages. Imagine your brain is a library. Every memory is a book, neatly placed on a shelf. Every thought is a librarian carrying books to where they're needed. Now imagine someone locks the doors between rooms, misplaces the books, and turns off the lights. That's what's happening inside your brain. And the cruel part? You don't feel it happening until the damage is already done. Studies have shown that in people over 60, The risk of dementia skyrockets with this medication, and yet it's still prescribed, often without a serious discussion about the dangers. But there's good news. Once you understand what's happening, you can make informed decisions to protect your mind and your future. And in the next section, we'll talk about what steps you can take today. Number 4. The name they rarely say out loud. It's time to pull back the curtain. The category of drugs most linked to this frightening statistic is called anticholinergics. You might not recognize that word. It's not something most people casually use in daily conversation, but you've probably seen the brand names before. These include certain sleep aids, bladder control medications, allergy pills, and even some antidepressants. The shocking part? Many of them are available over the counter, sitting quietly on drugstore shelves without any bold warning label about what they can do to your memory. Some people pick them up as casually as buying toothpaste, never suspecting they could be walking out of the store, holding something that might eventually make them forget the face of their own child. The anti and anticholinergic refers to the way these drugs block a key brain chemical called acetylcholine. This chemical is vital for learning, memory, and muscle function. Your brain relies on it like a lighthouse guiding ships through foggy waters. But when you take an anticholinergic regularly, especially over months or years, it's like dimming that lighthouse until it's barely a flicker. The ships still move, but they're lost, confused, and prone to crashing. Now, I want to be very clear. Some people may absolutely need certain medications, and I'm not here to tell you to stop anything suddenly. That could be dangerous, but what I am here to tell you is that you have the right to know what's going into your body, to weigh the risks against the benefits, and to ask your doctor hard questions, because no one should find out years later that a simple pill they took for a small problem might have been the reason their memories faded away. Number 5. What you can do right now to protect your mind. If your heart is pounding right now, wondering whether you or someone you love is already on one of these medications, take a deep breath. The most important thing you can do in this moment is not to panic, but to take calm, clear steps to protect your brain. Start by making a list of every single medication you take: prescription, over-the-counter, even herbal supplements. Be thorough, even if you think something is too small to matter. Then bring that list to your doctor or pharmacist and ask them directly, is any of these an anticholinergic? Could any of these be increasing my risk for memory loss? A good healthcare provider will respect your concerns and work with you to find safer alternatives if possible. And here's something else to remember. You have more power than you think. Lifestyle changes can also help protect and even strengthen your brain. Regular movement, whether it's a daily walk in the park, gentle stretching in the living room, or gardening in the sunshine, keeps blood flowing to your brain. Foods rich in antioxidants, like blueberries, leafy greens, and walnuts, nourish brain cells and help fight inflammation. Even simple daily habits like reading a chapter from a favorite book, doing a crossword puzzle, or learning a new hobby keep your brain active and resilient. I know for some of you, the thought of talking to a doctor about changing a medication feels intimidating, especially if you've been on it for years. But remember this, you are not being difficult or demanding when you advocate for your health. You are protecting your life's most precious treasure, your mind. And if there's even a chance to avoid the kind of fate that has hurt so many other seniors, isn't it worth that conversation? In the next part, we'll talk about real-life examples of people who took these steps and saw remarkable changes, and we'll also explore how to create a plan that gives you confidence and hope for the years ahead. Number 6. Stories of hope and turning things around. I know that right now some of you might be feeling a heavy knot in your chest, that quiet fear that whispers, what if it's already too late for me? Maybe you've been noticing those small changes, misplacing your keys, struggling to remember names, or losing your train of thought mid-sentence, and part of you wonders if you're slowly slipping away. But I want to tell you something that may surprise you. It's not always too late to make a difference. I've seen seniors who stood on the edge of despair turn things around in ways that gave them back not only their memory, but their sense of identity. Take Robert, for example, a retired high school history teacher from Florida. At 68, Robert began noticing troubling signs, forgetting where he left his glasses, stumbling over familiar words in the middle of telling a story, losing the thread of conversations he'd started. His students once described him as a man with a mind like a library, sharp, organized, and filled with details. But now even his favorite books sat untouched on the shelf because reading felt like climbing a steep hill. His wife Linda, a gentle but determined woman, began to suspect something wasn't right. She wasn't willing to just sit and watch the man she'd loved for 40 years fade. One quiet Sunday afternoon, she suggested they go through his medicine cabinet together. The afternoon sun was spilling through the kitchen window as they lined up every pill bottle on the counter. They read each label slowly, checking them one by one against a list Linda had found online. To their shock, several of Robert's daily medications were on the anticholinergic list, medications that studies had linked to memory decline. The conversation with his doctor was not easy. Robert had been on one of those medications for nearly a decade. Change felt risky, but Linda pressed on with calm persistence, asking about safer alternatives. Together, they made a plan to taper off the most concerning drug and replace it with a gentler option. It wasn't magic and it wasn't instant, but over the next several months Robert began to feel sharper. His wit came back. His eyes lit up again during conversations. He started reading the newspaper every morning, circling articles he wanted to discuss over breakfast. Politics became their favorite topic again, just like in the early years of their marriage. Robert's story is proof of a powerful truth. When you understand the risks, when you take an active role in your health, you give yourself the best possible chance to keep your mind strong. No, we can't control everything in life, but we can control what we put into our bodies, what we choose to continue and what we decide to let go of. And sometimes that choice is the line between fading quietly into the background and living fully, vibrantly, until your very last breath. Number 7. Building a brain-protecting daily routine. Once you know the risks, the next question is, what now? Protecting your memory isn't just about avoiding dangerous medications. It's about building a daily environment where your brain doesn't just survive, it thrives. Think of your brain like a beautiful garden. If you plant nothing, weeds will take over. If you ignore it, the soil dries out, the flowers wither, and the color fades. But when you nurture it, feeding it, watering it, giving it sunlight, it flourishes for decades. Start your mornings with a gentle mental warm-up. Read a short devotion to set your mind in a place of peace. Solve a crossword or a puzzle to challenge your thinking. Keep a small journal and write down 3 things you're grateful for each day. It may sound simple, but gratitude has been shown to rewire the brain for positivity. Throughout the day, keep moving. Your brain loves physical activity because it boosts circulation, increases oxygen flow, and triggers the release of chemicals that support memory. This doesn't mean you need to run marathons. Just a slow 15-minute walk around your neighborhood, or even dancing in your living room to your favorite old song, can work wonders. In the kitchen, choose foods that are like love letters to your brain. Salmon and tuna for omega-3 fatty acids, spinach and kale for vitamins and minerals, blueberries and strawberries for antioxidants that fight brain aging damage, whole grains for steady energy that keeps your mind alert, and perhaps most importantly, stay socially connected. Loneliness is like poison for the mind. Connection is the antidote. Call an old friend. Invite a neighbor for coffee. Share your stories, because when you tell them, you keep those memories alive and strengthen the bonds that protect your mental health. Many people underestimate how much these small daily habits matter. But over months and years, they build an invisible armor around your brain. And if you're already on a medication that might be risky, these habits become even more critical. They don't just slow down potential damage, they actively strengthen your brain so it can withstand more. Your brain is not a fragile glass, it's a living, adaptable muscle, and the more you use it, the more it grows, and the stronger it stays. Number 8. A final word from the heart. Before we close, I want you to think about this. Your mind is the home where every precious moment lives. Inside it are the echoes of your life, the laughter of your firstborn when they took their first steps, the warm smile of a friend you haven't seen in years, the smell of fresh bread drifting through the kitchen on a Sunday morning, the way your mother's voice sounded when she called your name. These are not just memories, they are treasures. They are the story of you, and you have every right to protect them with the same fierceness you'd protect your own life. The pill we've been talking about today may be common, but that doesn't mean it's harmless. Now that you know what it can do, you have the power to act, to ask questions, to seek safer choices, to guard your mind like the priceless gift it is. If there's one thing I hope you take from this, it's this. You are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of everything you're told without question. You have a voice. You have the right to demand answers, to make changes, to protect your future, starting now. And please don't keep this to yourself. If this message has opened your eyes or touched your heart, share it with someone you love. Because the truth is, this could save a memory, save a mind, even save a life. Before you go, I'd love for you to join our family here at Faith Wisdom. Click that subscribe button, share your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep this conversation alive. Together we can protect not just our own minds, but the minds of the people we love most. In the end, our memories are the stories that make us who we are, and they are worth fighting for with everything we've got.